Husn al-Khatimah versus Su al-Khatimah. Husn al-Khatimah is when you end up this life in a good way. When people die, when they're praying, when they're reading Quran, when they're helping their parents, when they're during their fast, in the day of Jum'ah, in the khutbah, right? And people, on the other hand, die during a bad deed, right? They're smoking, they're dancing, they're playing, right? They're doing something haram and they die at that moment. That would be a horrible thing. So we have to be aware that our life can be cut anytime. If we're aware of that fact and visualize it all the time, we will reduce the amount of bad that we do and we will do better in our life. لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ. If you don't do that, and if you don't worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the proper way, and if you don't avoid sins as much as you can, you will be seeing hellfire. When? In the day of judgment, in the end. As a result of your deeds, and as a result of the bad that you've committed, you will be seeing hellfire. And not only seeing it, but you will be in it, getting tortured and getting, the horrible punishment for you because you did not believe in those ayahs, and you did not avoid sins, and you did not add to your numbers of good deeds, so you can avoid that horrible sight and horrible scene and horrible place to be. ثم لترونها عين اليقين. ثم لترونها عين اليقين. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that Jahannam is not something that you're hearing about or reading about now. You will realistically see it. Factually, you will see it. It's a fact. It's not a fiction. It's not a story. It's not just something that we talk about. No. There will be a day where human will see it physically. So it's a physical fact. It's a physical place. It's a real place. And if we don't worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the proper way, then we will be seeing it and encounter it ourselves. ثم لتسألن يومئذ عن النعيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the day of judgment, He's going to ask us about all the good things that He provided for us. How did we use it? Were we thankful to Him for it? Did we abuse it? Did we overuse it? Did we take advantage of it? Did we take it for granted? Did we, use it carelessly? Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask us about everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask us, haven't I give you eyes so you can read the Quran and look at my creation and glorify me? Haven't I gave you the ears so you can hear the adhan and go to pray, and you can hear the Quran and have khushu' and hear the Islamic knowledge and you can learn from it? Haven't I given you the ability to stand and walk so you can get up and do Qiyamul Layl, or you can walk to the masjid, or you can walk to help a Muslim brother, or visit a Muslim sister who is ill, or walk in janazah, or go do Umrah, or go do the Hajj? Haven't I give you the hand so you can help the ill, you can help the needy? You can actually use them in my trying to get the acceptance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to donate with the hand, to plant trees, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask us for everything He's given us. Haven't I given you the health? You were strong, you were powerful. What did you do with your health? Well, God, I became a bodybuilder. I became famous. I became rich. Is that a proper use of our bodies? No. Versus a person who will say, oh Allah, I learned how to build houses, and I was building houses for the orphans and for the widow, and I also helped build the mosque. Then now that's a use for the body, right? What did you do with the brain? Did you use your brain so you can actually write Islamic stories for the children, or did you decide to write fiction stories, nonsense, ghost and dragon and flying things and science fiction, right? Or did you use your intelligence to help educate the Muslim, or did you use it to come up with nice fancy movies? Oh God, I made this movie and it was so famous, it made me $1 million. What did you do with that $1 million? I bought a nice house, beautiful car, got good food. Is that the way to appreciate the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask us about everything He's given us and provided for us in this life. Everything. Whether if it's a physical body part, or if it's a material possession, or an object, or a subject, or an information that He's given us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَمَا أُوتِيتُ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. You were only given a small amount of knowledge. So we shouldn't be too proud and think, well, I'm more knowledgeable than anybody else. Well, I'm smarter than you. Right? No mockery. Don't use the ability that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you to mock somebody or put somebody down or become vain and proud and arrogant and all that. Right? You have to use the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wisely according to the way He wanted us to use it, which is worshiping Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us to worship Him. Subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I've only created mankind to worship me. So use all the gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wisely to worship Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, so you can get the reward of paradise. Jannatu al-Firdaus bi-idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala.